How do you deal with a person who is always right and never wrong in any case, gives silent treatment, and when you try to reconcile by talking first, all the blame is on you and they take no accountability? Pause. In scenarios where you want to help resurrect the marriage or improve the marriage, right? And the other party is not open to it. What do you do in those scenarios, and how do you approach a scenario where you do want to pick something? Because you talked about a lot, there's a lot to consider, right? But
Right.
if it's only considered by one party, it's not going to work, right? So how do you make it so both parties are considering this?
Right. It's difficult. I've absolutely run into situations where one spouse is very eager on getting help and seeking help, and then they're being stonewalled and being completely sidelined, and the doors being closed on them, and even threatened. I've had people tell me that their spouses threaten them to divorce if they actually try to seek help. So that's complete abuse, and it's unacceptable. And I think there's a few ways around this, but before people get married, there should be, just as we create, I mean, this is my advice, but I think we're seeing so many cases now of this type of behavior that we almost have to preempt it in the nikah process. So before you draw out your nikah, there should be, I think, some addition there that would allow for protocol, like what are we going to do in the event of problems in our marriage, and what does the process look like? What is a healthy process? Does it involve family? Does it involve a specific teacher? Is there a resource that we both agree on that we are allowed to invite into the marriage in order to facilitate? But all of that, I think, has to be predetermined for the younger couples. Now, if you're already in a marriage and you're dealing with this type of behavior, depending on who you are, if you're the female, I would say absolutely, this is when, if you feel like your spouse is being unreasonable and they're not willing to get any help, and you are seeing your marriage basically fall apart, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing in terms of safeguarding the marriage, especially if they refuse to work on themselves, or if they're putting all the expectation on you and they are completely just refusing. This is when you have the right to invite your wali, the person that you see as an authority over you, that is supposed to manage these types of things. That could be your father, it could be your uncle, it could be someone in your community. For the converts, sometimes they ask the imams of their community or a sheikh to serve as their wali. You are in your right, absolutely, to enlist the help of a person of authority to basically speak to your husband and to get him straightened out, because it's not right to just keep telling women in these situations like, oh, be patient, be patient, be patient. For how long? When you're dealing with a husband who is refusing help, but the toxic behavior, the abusive behavior, the negligent behavior continues. This is outrageous, to keep expecting the wife to just hold her tongue and take it. This is not right. She has to be empowered. So I think allowing or identifying who that is very important. Having that person clear for you, like, I'm going to invite and it could, if you want to keep your parents out of it, maybe you have an older sibling who could play that role, especially if they're upright, God-fearing people who know the Sharia well, who can easily put your husband in his place. In that way that men know how to do. Men speak with men in a way that women don't speak to men. So maybe that's what you need to do. But I would say absolutely don't feel like you just have to take it, because that has led to so much pain, and it has horrible effects, especially when children are in the home, of just daily tension and cycles of abuse that just kind of grow from there. So we need to interrupt those cycles and empower those who are victims to know how to get out of them.